So, hello, Alex and Rob. How are you both? Welcome to Thoughts of the Week.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, so today we wanted to talk about how e-commerce is changing, how consumer behavior is changing as a result of everything. And let's hear our thoughts.
Yeah, so it's globalization around the world. So pretty much, obviously, we know everything's going to be changing, habits going to be changing just due to people being a bit more worried about first spending money, where the products come from, and also what they're touching. People are really hypersensitive to just pretty much everything that's around them, or where their food's coming from, where the product's coming from. So yeah, things are going to be a bit different in the changing months, but not necessarily in a bad way. So we do have a few questions lined up. Rob? Got you.
This is just where I don't talk so much now. I shared a load of hosting. So I guess the biggest impact and things that I've seen could be worth discussion points is the rise in local vendors or brands that have the disguise of being more local than they actually are. Nothing wrong with that. If that hits their sort of brand guidelines and what they want to display as their message. But yeah, a lot more people are aiming to try and buy local. I don't think it is necessarily more of a financial impact or anything like that, but I think it's a social impact of people wanting to support local businesses, and there's a big drive in that in all communities. It's like there should be. If other people in your community fail, it kind of brings everyone down. So we can help that, and the bigger chains out there are probably going to be able to survive this whole crazy situation way more suitably than small businesses or family-run merchants. We've got that in e-commerce. We can see that massively in meat and groceries and things like that, where it's food supplies and people are going to individual farm shops. As for other things, I don't really have any of that data. But there has been a massive upshot in people creating their own businesses recently as well. People jumping and creating e-commerce sites to sell their products online because they have time, because they have an interest. So we'll have a massive upswing of something that I call bedroom businesses. So there's no real questions there. That's me just saying loads of thoughts. So you two can jump on and see if you've got any counterpoint. Well, I'm just going to agree.
No, to be fair, yeah. So there is actually a whole emerging industry, and it's kind of new at the moment. I don't know how long it will continue on for or where it's going to go. But it's the whole non-contact side of things. So there are whole services being set up which are designed to minimize contact of goods, services, etc. Emerging out of this, because I think that the worry is, although COVID is, it's a dangerous illness, people are also aware of just how easily things like this can spread. So people are also hyper now aware of everything that's around the world. It's not the only pretty much illness people can get, although it's become the most prominent. So yeah, there's a whole industry that's being kind of brought up, and because different countries have different regulations around what can and can't proceed, businesses are having to pivot, and sometimes there are opportunities in different countries which are not present in the current country that you operate in. I mean, for example, in the States, the restrictions over there around, for example, California, are significantly higher than pretty much in Sweden, where there's nearly no restrictions. So a company that has a product that would almost thrive well in a heavily restricted environment in Sweden would probably actually sell quite well over in California, despite not being there. And there's not that much restriction in terms of shipping, so there's no reason you can't sell over into the States, but your product may take off over there a lot more, especially if you have that kind of if you have that angle to it that people are looking for. So yeah, I mean, it's changing a lot quicker than I would have thought they would have changed. Businesses are starting up pretty much immediately.
Also, though, I think after having heard conversations with checkout.com and Avalara and some other partners that we have, they've kind of emphasized the importance of looking to new markets, beyond the typical the US or other countries in Europe. Even though in 2019 the UK was the largest retail e-commerce market in Europe, so I think since e-commerce is becoming even bigger than it was, and so many wholesalers are going direct to consumer online, there's such a big opportunity for businesses to spread their wings, internationalize. As you said, there's not that many shipping restrictions, and especially coming from the UK, I think products have probably inspire a sense of confidence in consumers because it being the UK. So I think it would be a good idea for a lot of businesses to see how they could potentially expand into those new markets. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, as I said, the direct to consumer trend is something that is happening a lot with wholesalers. And apart from, bedroom businesses, small businesses in general, yeah, trying to expand, trying to find new avenues, wanting to do contactless delivery and things like that, might kind of dwindle down, as well, depending, I guess, on if we're going to have a second peak or however the situation develops. But I think people will want to have some, sense of normalcy. Not because I don't think anyone wants to go to the supermarket, come back, wash every orange they bought. Like, no one wants to live like that. So I think people will be quick to jump back to certain things that are normal, be a bit less fearful. Obviously, consumer confidence is going to depend on how the economy bounces back from everything. But yeah, just like Rob, I'm just saying things now. I'm not posing anything. I just think
distinctly sitting on the fence.
No, it's just a good opportunity for e-commerce retailers. Like it's not a great situation for anyone, obviously, but with some like strategy and adaptability, I think there's definitely avenues that people can explore.
No, I think that's spot on. Really, it is depending on your industry and your customer base, and also where you are based. I think consumers buying abroad or anywhere else is going to take a hit because there is this underlying fear. Potentially there's going to be less impact for buying something that's traveled for 6 days than buying something that someone's touched an hour ago. But yeah, it does depend on that. And I think you're right. If you're a UK merchant, that you should be looking to push your products to the global market if you can. And if you do that, you can place your branding as the whole English heritage thing. A lot of people will buy something because it's got that UK history around it, which is a great thing for marketers if you can use that. But yeah, it'll be the confidence. I think UK companies might be hit slightly more because of the UK situation, and we've got a very high number of cases here. So the rest of Europe and other countries might be more concerned.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see the same way. There'll be more restrictions, but there'll be more restrictions in the UK for the short term as everything comes slightly down. Just the way we've recorded the cases, we're the highest in.
Yeah, but it's not. It's all relative though. I mean, it all goes up and down per country. So first, obviously, it was Italy, then it was Spain, then it was us, then it was now it's Sweden. That's now the new focus. So I think it's gonna keep going up and down. The States obviously had their peak. So it's going to change. The systems and everything is going to change over time throughout the world, and we don't know when it's going to basically come back as a second peak, as people do expect and plan for. So it's one of those things that I think it's good to be prepared. By selling into other countries, you can be prepared to sell into a country that has less restrictions, and at that time, if the economy is better in those specific countries, we'll have more spending power. So it allows you to be a bit more agile.
Also, sorry to interrupt you, I just wanted to mention that because of the situation, a lot of platforms, solutions for e-commerce merchants are actually free or doing trials for several months. So it is a good time as well to take advantage of those offers and see how it might benefit your business at no or low cost at the moment. So another good opportunity to take advantage of that, maybe.
Yeah, if you were to trial it, now's definitely the time, because you can. Well, as we know from the partners that we work with, they're normally very keen to help out Anyone that wants to try something new, that wants to try another avenue, have discussions and try and make a success of it, because ultimately that's what everyone's trying to get at the moment, is make some success out of all of the doom and gloom that we've been seeing over the last already almost 2 months now.
More than 2 months, right?
Yeah, almost 2 months. One day before 2 months.
Oh, yeah.
And the time is just relative now. I have no idea what it is.
The continuous passage of waking up.
I sit by my computer and then I sleep and then I sit by my computer. But no, yeah, it's all fair. So start local and then look forward to globalization as much as you can. And then hopefully, with any luck, we'll all be talking about Brexit again soon. And then obviously all the implications around the tax imports and exports for that. So I never thought I'd miss talking about Brexit.
The gift that keeps on
hoping
giving.
to talk about Brexit.
Yeah. It's so more optimistic. We'll go. Yeah, I found some other cool facts as well, which aren't anything to globalization there, which are quite cool. So I share now. But so there's a whole peak with so it's been a 52% increase in spend at supermarkets and grocery shopping, which initially to everyone was straight away like everyone's hoarding, bulk buying and things like that, because they're worried and concerned they might not be able to go later on. But that's been really consistent over the last 2 months. So they haven't had they've had the dip from the first influx, and toilet paper is now being restocked. But it's gone down where people are using the consumables that they have to use before that. But I'm guessing it is because restaurants aren't open and people don't go out for lunch and things like that now. So they're eating 100% of their meals at home. But also it just turns out that everyone's getting pretty fat.
Yeah.
Also, everyone's baking. It is impossible to find flour anywhere. And it's now the Great British Bake Off, but in everyone's kitchen every day. So that's something I've noticed. So
basically, if anyone's watching this sells flour as a merchant, get in contact, give some to Alex, and he will show you the cake he's made in the next episode.
There are willing purchasers of flour right here.
I think I've ever baked in my life, if I'm honest.
What?
It's fun. You should try it.
Most therapeutic, awesome thing. It's awesome.
No, I'm starting I'm more on the barbecue life now. I think that's more
lean
of a me
protein.
thing. It's just fire, isn't it? Really. Just
manly.
Yeah.
It's like a manly baking.
Baking is very manly. It's way harder than I could ever do it.
It's true. It requires skill.
Yeah, barbecuing just has more open flames.
Nice.
But
so we had the other bits of information that pet sales have gone up massively with pet toys and things like that. I think as a lot of companies are going working from home now, there's even been some big e-commerce platforms that have made the decision that no one will be going back to the office until 2021, and they're now moving to not have offices at all. So it could be a big shift, and as people have got that and working from home indefinitely, they've got more time to care for pets and things. I think that's a safe bet because the world has very much changed. I don't see everyone piling to offices anytime soon. We were going more towards remote working. I think every company that's won the best place to work trophies, I guess that's what they're called. We'll be big advocates for remote working and things like that, but it opens up new opportunities as long as the infrastructure and the internet can handle it.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big shift. I think the situation kind of catalyzed something that was going to happen eventually anyway, because it is expensive to, rent office spaces, as we know from all the WeWorks that are popping up. It's expensive to maintain that, and it's kind of shown that it's not necessarily that important. You think that seeing, the same people every day is going to foster a sense of team and community, but, not necessarily. People are very used to having relationships online. I personally, have been living in the UK for 7.5 years, and I've been, communicating with my parents, my family, whatever, over Skype. Like, it is the way of the world sort of nowadays. So why not make work more efficient potentially by doing something like that? And also, I think people's quality of life um, will improve as a result of that, if that kind of becomes a new norm. Because obviously now we're not experiencing all the benefits because, you know, we're locked up in a room all day. But if we're able to go have a beer after work and, you know, whatever, see friends, it gives you a lot of time that you're not commuting, a lot of time, like you said, to spend at home with a pet or a family member or a friend or whatever. And I also hope that the people that are adopting pets, because I know a few as well that have adopted kittens and puppies, I really hope that everyone that's adopting pets knows that it's a long-term commitment, not just for COVID, and we don't have an influx of strays and
Returns.
I mean, also just driving to an office. If like I drove obviously to the office that we got in Wisley, and it's very wasteful in terms of the amount of fuel that we use collectively.
Time.
So
It's
I mean,
that's because you drive in second gear the entire way.
It's a problem when you haven't got any other gears.
Left lane.
Yeah, it's just I mean, collectively, it just uses up so much fuel, oil, greenhouse gases that just cutting down even half of that would have such a massive impact. It's obviously a bit different over in like London, where a lot of people do cycle and walk, but over out here in Surrey, you know, driving's pretty much a necessity. So the less we do of that, the way I see
it's interesting at the moment though, because London's roads are phenomenally busy right now because no one's using public transport.
Yep.
So everyone's driving. So you've got the type, but yeah, this is the post-COVID PC. That's what we're going to name it. Because that'd be pre-COVID as well, wouldn't it? We'll think of the acronyms later. But after that, and the shift in working culture, I think could be important. It means that we could have a more dynamic workspace. People have that other time that they can do. Myself, I'm spending at least an hour and a half every day commuting.
Yeah.
So that'd be hour and a half of like the life back that I find a hobby.
Yeah, but also, can I just say that I think a lot of employers are concerned about if team members and employees are going to work as hard as they would if they were in the office or whatever. And I've personally noticed that people are working a lot more. So probably one thing that, I don't know if it's because of COVID, but like one thing that the work from home situation kind of needs to resolve is where you draw the line between, because you're in the same space, you have the same, like you're always going to be in your house, but you need to draw the line when now it's not work time anymore. Now it's done. A lot of people are struggling with that because it's, you don't know. It's new for us to work from home, so you kind of don't know where to draw the line. And I think a lot of people are experiencing, working hours that they wouldn't normally be working. So if anything, I wouldn't think that it would affect productivity that much.
Not in any study that sort of I've come across. But I think a lot of these, all the studies I read are very pro working from home, things like that. So I'm taking it with a pinch of salt there.
Yeah, it's pros and cons to everything, really, isn't it? So things are going to be a bit more difficult in terms of getting a quick answer from somebody when you can't just go over there and ask the question directly. But it's just adapting. So just finding new ways of working, jumping on a Teams call whenever you can, or Zoom, whatever you use. So I mean, it's all pros and cons to both sides of the environment. Personally, I did quite like working in the office. Although that being said, it's one of those things where I probably would do it all the time and then want to work from home again, then do that all the time and then want to work from the office again and never be fully happy. So it's always a give and take situation, but people are getting used to it. Businesses are operating fairly fluidly. I think I've not experienced any real problems with any of the other partners that we deal with in terms of getting responses or answers or getting questions answered quick enough. So I think it's something that people will get more and more effective as time goes on.
Yeah.
The
only thing I would recommend, obviously, is just get a good desk set up in your flat if you can, because that
for sure
really helps.
And hopefully no builders.
Yeah, no builders and a desk, and honestly, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you should always follow the health and safety guidelines for using visual display equipment.
Oof. Did you memorize that from the phone?
No, I just do a lot of first aid and things like that, and I'm broken myself. So I've learned the hard way that you've got to sit properly, have your equipment set up properly, your monitoring keyboard at the right height.
No, if we're doing this in the long term, it's necessity. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Like this is gonna be a while before anything goes back to how we remember it before, if at all. So yeah, just make sure that you are actually thinking about how long can you do this for.
Indeed.
I found the sitting on the couch every day is not a long-term solution.
Nope. Have you still not got your desk chair?
Not yet.
Well, that's on you. That's no one else's responsibility apart from you.
I am well aware. Hence why I'm making the recommendation to everybody else.
Yeah.
Our fantastic office manager delivered my equipment to my house.
She did, yeah.
I know.
Like, you have that option as well.
Yep.
You're
I
just
am
a
well
maverick
aware.
sitting on a sofa.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
waiting till I go grab my office chair.
You can go grab it at any point you like.
But then that requires going out and getting into the car and driving. I get it.
Effort.
Fair enough. Well, I'll help you with the physiotherapy that you're going to need. In the
Yeah.
Send me some exercises preemptively, Rob. That'd be great.
Buy him a back brace.
That is. Neck exercises. I've got you sorted.
It's all right. I'll move around.
Brilliant. I have no idea how long we've been talking for now.
A long time. We should probably end this recording.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Until next time.
Thank you
Yes,
very much, guys.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm not
Stay
controlling
safe.
it. Christina has to turn this off.
I will do it. Stay safe, everyone. Enjoy your long weekend. And thank you for watching. If
Thank you
you're
very much.
watching.
Still recording.
Yeah, I'd say, is it?
Or
Is it
Christina's
off now? Is
No,
it still
all you've done is
recording?
just leave the chat.
Yeah, is it still recording? 'Cause-
Man, it's still recording.
No.